In the last class, we have discussed in detail about the hydrodynamic bearings and the physics behind the bearing action. So this is a continuation of the previous one, and we will look into the factors that are going to affect, or what are the factors that influences the this oil film. Now this is what we have explained in the previous class. We learned that as the shaft rotates, we have a wedge here, oil wedge here. One is a divergent one, and this is a convergent one. And as the speed increases, the force transmitted to the oil also increases, and finally the oil lifts this journal and thereby creating a small fluid layer between the journal and the bearing. And this portion, the small film of lubrication, is called as the oil film, or otherwise it's very famously called as the minimum oil film thickness. So this is the minimum oil film thickness, and this minimum oil film thickness is considered as a thick film. Thick in the sense a thickness which can separate these two metal parts completely. That's what's the actual meaning of this thickness, thick filaments. And the most important thing is that in order to develop this hydrodynamic action, there should be a wedging action. A wedging action takes place. So in order to have a wedging action, so to develop that, definitely we need an eccentricity like this. Look here, these two are the this is the center of the bearing, and this is the center of the shaft. Definitely we have a distance between these two. There is not concentric, and that eccentricity is the reason which creates a convex and concave part, or otherwise a wedging part. Right, now let's see how the pressure is being developed. So if you look at this figure, we can see that here the shaft is finally, it's not exactly at the center, it can be located either to your left hand side or to the right hand side. So that location can also be identified while we designing it, exactly where it is being located, where is it. So when we look at this particular sketch, we can see that at some particular point we have the maximum pressure here. Look here. And when we move towards to the either sides, to the divergent part and to the convergent part, here we can say that this is the divergent part and this is the convergent part. We can see that as we move from the Pmax region to either sides, the pressure value decreases. So this is how in the cross section it will look like. And as I told that the small gap, that is called as the minimum oil film thickness, or it is otherwise called as H minimum. Right? Now if you take this is the cross section, and the pressure distribution will look like this. And if we look at the lengthwise of the shaft, we can say that the distribution is something like this. So the pressure is being built up and it is being maintained constantly, and this is how it look like. Towards in the lengthwise and in the cross section wise, this is how the pressure distribution of the general bearing look like. Now, what are the characteristics of the hydrodynamic lubrication? First thing we have to note down is that the fluid film at any point of minimum thickness decreases in thickness as the load increases. So don't get confused in the sentence. It's very simple. As the load increases, what happens? It will squeeze the oil film, and thereby the thickness will reduce. The minimum thickness decreases. That means H minimum will decrease as the load increases. And the pressure within the fluid mass increases as the fluid film decreases due to the load. We can say that as the load increases, what happens? More amount of oil will get squeezed out, and thereby the amount of pressure that is going to build up at that particular location will be high. So as the increase of load, oil film thickness decreases, pressure increases. And now the pressure within the fluid mass is greatest at some point approaching the minimum clearance. At some point, it's not exactly at the H minimum location, but some point at the vicinity of this H minimum we can expect a maximum pressure value. Right? And finally, the viscosity increases as the pressure increases. more resistance to shear. That's how the basic characteristics of the hydrodynamic lubrication. So even though the sentence looks a bit complex, you try to understand in a very basic elementary level. As the load increases, oil film thickness decreases. As oil film thickness decreases, pressure increases. That's how. Now, what are the other characteristics? Look here. The oil film thickness at a point of minimum clearance, that means H minimum location, increases with the use of viscous oil. Now we are going to say how we can increase the H minimum. What are the ways to increase the H minimum? How to increase it? One method is by using a viscous fluid. If we have a viscous fluid, the amount of lift force that is being developed, resistance offered is high. Thereby, we can increase the film thickness. Minimum clearance increases. This minimum clearance is called H minimum. Now, with the same load, the pressure increases as the viscosity of the fluid increases. So when the load remains constant, and if we use a higher viscous oil, then the amount of pressure that is being developed is also high. And at a given load and fluid, the thickness of the film will increase as the speed is increased. That's one important thing. We have learned that, see, this wedging actions takes place as we know that at the speed n3 greater than n2 greater than n1 greater than n1 n. In this condition, so if we increase the speed further to n4 or n5, what happens? More and more amount of force is being imparted into the fluid, right? More and more amount of force is being imparted, and what happens? As the more and more amount of force is being gained by the fluid, it offers more and more lift to the shaft. What happens? So initially it was the condition of the shaft, but as the speed approaches to n5, say n5, the amount of force carried also increases, and thereby it relocates to a new location like this. You see here, this was the initial gap. Now it has increased a bit. So as the speed is a very important factor, and you should understand. Somebody asks you why it offers more thickness, means you should be able to explain that. What happens as the speed increases? That's the relation, that's the explanation that you should learn. It's just there is no point in by hearting the 5 factors. So the factors going to affect the Bernal bearing properties are viscosity, pressure, load. No, that's not the way to learn it. If you say that some particular factor is affecting the journal bearing, you should be able to say why and how that affects. It's very important. And finally, the fluid friction increases as the viscosity of the lubrication increases. So it's very obvious. So as the viscosity increases, the shear resistance offered between the layers of the fluid is also high, thereby more friction. That's a common thing we know about the fluid. Now comes the fluid velocity, or otherwise I will say that fluid speed. We can say speed. Both are correct, right? As the fluid velocity depends on the velocity of the journal. We know that because initially the fluid was at rest. Gradually it picks up the speed, or it attains some motion just because of the rotation effect of the journal. And as the speed of the journal increases, the velocity of the fluid within that bearing also increases. Right, that we have already explained. Now, increasing the relative velocity tends towards a decreasing in the eccentricity. We know that because all these sentences are related to one another. In the previous slide, I have told that as the speed increases, or as the this increases, more amount of clearance will happen. Right, it attains more and more amount of. In the previous slide, I have told that as the pressure increases here. Speed is increased, so more amount of force is being available for the fluid to lift this shaft further. So what happens? As this shaft is being lifted to a higher level from this particular location, center of this location, the shaft is getting closer and closer towards the center, and when it is getting closer and closer towards the center, the eccentricity is decreasing. That's how you have to understand. So in another way we can say that as the eccentricity decreases, the wedging action also decreases. So this kind of lift force or everything will come into picture only when we have a wedging action within the fluid. So that wedging action is just develops just because of this eccentricity. So as the speed increases, there is no, if we increases our speed to a further limit or to a particular point, then there will not be any kind of wedging action, and there will not be any kind of effective lift force that is being transmitted to the bearing. And finally, this is accompanied by a greater film thickness, we have already explained. And now we have the effect of load. I think you can easily explain the effect of load. As the load increases, what happens? The film thickness decreases, increases the pressure, squeezes the oil film out, and finally increases the fluid viscosity. These are very simple things that we can explain. So we have learned about the effect of load. We have learned the effect of speed, we have learned the effect of viscosity, how these are affecting the H minimum, because this is the focusing point, because this is the one which is going to, this H minimum is the one, it's the target, our target. Once this is being developed, we have a bearing. If it is not, we don't have a bearing. So we are very eager to know what are the factors that has contributed to the H minimum, and the most important factors that has contributed is the load, speed and viscosity. And this is the three terms that we are going to use while we design the general bearing. Right? Now, finally, the bearing characteristics number. Since the viscosity, velocity and load are the key factors, we are developing a number called as the bearing characteristics number, okay, to distinguish, to talk about the bearing, whether we have a bearing action or not. Okay, so increasing the velocity increases, so this we have already explained, and using these factors we have developed the derivation. I am not explaining here. We have an equation like this: Zn by P. Z is the viscosity, N is the speed, and P is the pressure. So you don't worry, you don't complain that the load term is absent. No, the load term is there, the load term is there within the pressure, because the pressure is being called as W by L into D. L is the length and D is the dia of the journal. So this is the relation that is called as the bearing characteristics number, and that is being used to state whether we have a thick film lubrication or not. Now look at this picture. So this, if we start from 0 to a speed of N3, let's say we have got three type of lubrication. One is called as the boundary lubrication. So in boundary lubrication, if you look at this schematic diagram, we can say that the ups and downs of the surface, there will be a solid metal to metal contact. Solid metal to metal contact. But as the speed increases, what happens? Gradually the lift force increases, gradually the amount of contact reduces, and we have a mixed lubrication here. So even though it is a mixed lubrication, or otherwise it is called as boundary lubrication. Boundary lubrication. So in boundary lubrication, we can see that most of the surfaces are being separated, but they have partial contact. So in mixed lubrication, we have partial contact. And finally, as the fluid gains more and more force, there will be a solid layer which separates all the ups and downs of a surface. This is called as the hydrodynamic lubrication, or otherwise called as the thick film lubrication. Thick film. And if we use the bearing characteristics number Zn by P and friction here, we can say that during, you can see how the speed and velocity affect the hydrodynamic lubrication, and this is the region where we have the hydrodynamic action. So such a kind of graph is being used while we design to check whether we have our system, or we are designing the system is in hydrodynamic zone. We are not designing anything in the boundary condition. We are not designing anything in the mist condition. We are completely designing it in the hydrodynamic zone, right? So this is not the boundary lubrication. I have made a mistake. This is called as the boundary lubrication. This is otherwise called as thin film lubrication. So this is partial contact. This is thin film. So this is the boundary lubrication. It's already given here. So we are going to design something which is in a thick film condition, or otherwise it is called as a hydrodynamic lubrication condition. For that we are going to take use of this kind of curve, and all these curves are given in your data handbook, and in one class I will explain the data handbook, and I will explain about the design of the journal bearing. So this is the this completes the introduction of the journal bearing, and in the next class I will be explaining about the design procedure, variables that we are going to use, everything with the help of data handbook. So wait for the next video. We will discuss in detail about the design procedure and the variables that we are going to use.